Welcome to Earl, Stewart on Cars with Earl and Nancy Stewart. Reach them with your questions at 877-960-9960.
We mystery shop CarMax in Boynton Beach. The Takata saga. I think everybody's heard of Takata. In the last 8-10 months, we've mystery shopped dozens of car dealerships in our listing area to see how they handle a customer who tries to buy a vehicle from them that is affected with a deadly Takata airbag recall. There are tens of millions, you heard me right, millions of vehicles in the United States affected by an extremely dangerous safety defect in their airbag systems. The propellant, the explosive powder used to inflate the airbag in a fraction of a second, can degrade over time, especially in hot, humid climates like Florida, causing it to explode much more rapidly and forcefully than it was designed to. This can cause the metal housing of this inflator to turn into razor-sharp fragments, literally shrapnel, just like a hand grenade, that can maim and kill the occupants of the vehicle. New vehicle manufacturers have issued recalls to repair this defect, but the extent of the problem is so massive, there's no way for replacement parts to be made at a sufficient rate to fix them all. In fact, Takata is bankrupt now. It is really a struggle to build these replacement airbags. So these parts aren't available, leaving millions of drivers without a remedy and at risk for a life-threatening disaster. There are also millions of these affected used vehicles currently being offered for sale by car dealers and independent sellers. As you know, there is no law. This blows my mind. There is no law that prevents them from selling you a car. Any car dealer in the United States can sell you a car without even telling you that there's a deadly Takata airbag in there that can't even be fixed because there's no part available. Car dealers are free to sell these death traps with no disclosure to unsuspecting consumers. The depressing thing is, of the dozens of dealerships we've investigated, nearly all of them have failed the Takata test. The one glimmer of hope is that over the course of the last 18 months, it's become a little more difficult to find these killer cars in dealer inventories. We hope we're having an effect. I believe we are. This week, we investigated the country's largest retailer of used cars, CarMax. A study conducted of CarMax locations in California, Massachusetts, Connecticut by a coalition of safety advocates found that 27% of the 1,699 vehicles checked had open safety recalls. Now, 27%, folks. I mean, that's like Russian roulette. You walk into a CarMax, 27% chance that you're going to get a bad, defective recall in the car you buy. So that's the reason we decided to shop them. When we looked at the CarMax Boynton Beach website, we were not encouraged. The very first car that we looked at, a 2010 Ford Mustang for $12,998, had a no fix, no parts available, passenger side Takata recall. We sent Agent PN to investigate. Here's the report. After quickly finding a parking spot in front of the CarMax showroom, I walked inside and was greeted immediately by a gentleman named Sky. At first I thought he was a greeter, but it turned out he would be my salesperson. Sky wanted to know if I had a particular vehicle in mind or if I wanted to help selecting one that suited my needs. I told him that I had found a reasonably priced Ford online and wanted to check it out. I showed him the information I had printed from their website. Sky checked it out, said he'd be right back. He needed to know the location. He needed to find the location of the vehicle. I waited only a couple of minutes before Sky returned, and we walked out to the car together. He handed the keys to me and invited me to drive. I asked him about the safety of the car. I told him that my wife was expecting her first child in less than 2 months, and that I considered safety to be my primary concern. He said that as soon as we got back, he would review the vehicle history reports with me. When we got back to CarMax, Sky turned to his computer and pulled the auto check report for the Mustang. Auto check is another check like Carfax. Not quite as good as Carfax, but auto check is fairly accurate. The very first thing he pointed out was the Takata passenger side recall. He read the notice on the report explaining that there were no parts available. He told me that many of these recalls do not have parts. Now, this is shocking and surprising, pleasantly so. In some cases, it could take a very long time before repairs could be made. I pressed him to give me an estimate of how long I would have to wait. He replied that there was no way to make that estimate. Now, in a lot of dealerships we shopped, this wasn't the case. They would totally hide the fact. We had one dealership where they actually tore up or discarded the part of the Carfax report that gave that information and then flat lied about the fact that there was no recall. So this is very good, the fact that at least CarMax is telling the truth. I told him I was losing some confidence in the car. I asked him if I bought the car, should I be concerned for my safety? Sky replied that he personally would be concerned. Now, that's a shocker. The next thing he said shocked me. He said that Takata airbags have been known to explode and send metal fragments into the car, injuring, in some cases, killing the occupants. Now, here's a salesman in CarMax telling you that if you buy this car, it can kill you. And I personally wouldn't buy the car. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, it's like I'm making the story up, but I'm not making the story up. This is true. I asked him why they were selling these cars if they were so dangerous. He replied that the only way they can sell them is if the customers sign full disclosures stating that they were made aware of the recall, understands the risk, and agrees to get the repairs made as soon as the parts were available. Well, that's great for the company selling you the car because now they're legally absolved of any liability. It's a shame that they can be by a simple disclosure. And how the disclosure is made, varies tremendously from dealership to dealership. In this case, it was a very, very, very open, honest disclosure. In fact, it was so honest, it makes you wonder, why did they even have the car on the lot in the first place? Because nobody's going to buy a car after you were as honest as Sky was with this mystery shopper. Sky said that he assumed that I would want to find another vehicle to look at. I think it was the shock expression on my face, but I told him no. Now, Sky can't figure this out. He doesn't know he's talking to a mystery shopper. No customer would have continued interest at this point. I said I would consider waiting for the parts to become available if they would agree to deliver the car to his house. I said I thought the price was good. I may be willing to park it in my driveway for a while. Now, what our mystery shopper is doing is trying to get the paperwork. We're trying to document the fact that they would sell the car. So the shopper is just doing what his job was to get the evidence. No real person would have ever bought the car with that kind of disclosure. Now, Sky's trying to talk the mystery shopper out of buying the car. He said, it's going to be a long time before you get it fixed. I replied, I wasn't sure if that was my plan, but I would consider doing this after discussing it with my wife. Sky has got to think that the shopper is mentally ill. I can't imagine why he would pursue this. I mean, he's got a wife expecting a child, and he's going to buy this car with a hand grenade in the dashboard. So I don't know what the Sky's thinking, but I give kudos to Sky. The guy he's a good guy. He's an honest guy. I asked him what the matter was. He said, it looks like someone has reserved the car online. Don't understand this. He's looking at his computer. It had sold while we were discussing it. I asked him to explain. He said it hadn't actually been purchased yet, but a hold had been put on. CarMax had this function on their website. He said this doesn't mean that it won't become available, and the only thing this affects now is the ability to print my buyer's order. This is really almost immaterial. Internal thing. There's no subterfuge going on here. Just a little interesting glitch. Sky printed the buyer's order using a sample Chrysler 200. Sale price was identical, $12,998. The added $299 CarMax processing fee. That's a dealer fee, folks. One of the lower dealer fees. By the way, CarMax didn't used to have a dealer fee, and they added it back, but it's only $299. That's the lowest dealer fee I know of. They have a $374 in registration fees, $799 in sales tax, and here's an extra dealer fee, $27. So really, for all, it's like $326 dealer fee. Still low. Out the door price was $14,550. I thanked him and left. So there you have it. To me, the amazing thing is that they are selling, CarMax is selling 27% of their cars with defective, dangerous recalls. 27%. CarMax sells about 1 million used cars a year. Now that's 270,000 cars a year. I divided that out, and it works out to be how many cars per day?
740.
Yeah. So think about it, folks. CarMax is selling 740.
Staggering.
Yeah. Every day. But that's a lot of dangerous cars being sold. And CarMax, they have a huge exposure because they're the largest. And the regulators are giving them a pass. The legislators are giving them a pass. Everybody's given the car dealers a pass to sell dangerous cars.
Hi, this is Earl Stewart. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to be notified of new videos that we post to our YouTube channel, simply click on the subscribe button at the lower right-hand side of the screen.
Earl Stewart.